Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back here at Howard University and to join my colleagues from the class of '87 who are here from the entire class of 1987 to bid you congratulations. This morning it is my honor to present Dr. Kevin Herbert Scott. Dr. Scott, classmate and friend since we entered school here in 1983, has been in private practice in family medicine for 17 years since leaving the College of Medicine and finishing his residency training in family medicine. I must say that I've known Dr. Scott and been a friend of his since we entered into medical school. And Dr. Scott has been a man of outstanding moral character and representing the college well in the community that we live in. It is my pleasure today to introduce to you Dr. Kevin Herbert Scott, our representative from the class of 1987.
Firstly, I give honor to God, to the provost, to the dean, to the medical faculty, to the graduates of this class of 2007, to my mom that's here from Connecticut, to my wife, to my family. I want to say it is such an honor to be here and to be chosen to do this. I was so excited when I got the call. I called home to my mom in Connecticut and I said, "Mom, you ought to think about coming down to the Olson Honors. Guess who's going to be one of the speakers?" And she excitedly said, "Barack Obama?" I said, "No, Mom, no." So she guessed again. She said, "You?" I said, "Yeah, Mom, yeah." And my lovely wife, I told her, I said, "Kay," I said, "you ought to come to Olson Honors. Guess who's going to be one of the speakers?" She said, "Barack Obama?" I said, "No, dear." She said, "Oh, you?" I said, "Yes." So she decided to come. I remember entering the College of Medicine and starting to become a part of the awesome history that's in the College of Medicine. One can't help but to go through the hallways and see the pictures of the graduates that are hung on the walls and see some of the famous names that are there. I remember looking for and finding the name of my uncle, Uncle Bill, I call him Uncle Bill, but William Moore from the class of 1967, 40 years from today, who actually came up today also, so he is here also. And I remember seeing his face and getting a sense of pride and encouragement, knowing that he went through medical school with a wife and 5 children and still did well. And after graduating from Howard's College of Medicine, he went on to have 3 of his children go on to be physicians. To see names and pictures like Charles Drew, LaSalle Lafall, to see all those hanging on the wall, to be taught by so many awesome professors. I remember in gross anatomy lab having a guy named Dr. Aziz yell out, "If anybody wants to know anything about anatomy, come here right now." And we had to drop everything and go running over to that cadaver. I remember Dr. C. Ovid Trouth. At that time, he had a real big afro. It kind of hung over front a little bit. And when he gave a lecture, if he had an important point, in his deep West Indian voice, he would say, "Know that." And just as awesome, his wife, who would tell you everything you needed to know about neurology in 2 hours with no interruptions and a half a cup of coffee. And then one of the most awesome professors I had was a Dr. Jackson in pathology, who used to come in on the holidays to teach us and give us reviews in gross pathology. And I remember him pulling an old ragged heart from a bucket of organs and peeling it open, and we all standing around, and he would peel it open and with his southern drawl say, "This is syphilitic aortitis with separation of the valves and the commissure." And in our newness, we looked at each other and whispered, "What's a commissure?" So awesome professors like that. And it's interesting, on graduation, it was still hard to feel like a doctor. I still had some development to go through. If you came up behind me and said, "Doctor," I wouldn't have turned around. I still needed to learn to get my doctor swagger and my doctor walk on. And when I talk to people over the phone, instead of saying, "My name is Kevin," I say, "Dr. Scott," and just kind of watching the ocean peel apart when you use that doctor before your name. And with all of that, I went on to finish in family practice and then open up a couple of offices in this area. And my beautiful wife, who gave me 4 beautiful children, we went on to do kind of, I guess, what everybody thinks is what you dream of. We got a big, beautiful house in the burbs, and because I was a doctor and I thought that that's what I deserved, I bought a big Mercedes, and that was for the fancy nights, and I bought a little 911 Porsche for the sporty nights, you know. And on June of the year 2000, actually prior to that, I was working out, supposedly trying to get in shape, and broke a bone in my foot. And that was a little difficult to handle because I couldn't get my doctor swagger on anymore. You know, doctor's not supposed to be hurt, so some people say. And in the surgery to get that repaired, I lost a lot of blood and lost vision in one of my eyes, which was not too easy to handle. I still had to work and still had a family to support. And to add insult to injury, in